There's a good chance it's not the quality of your content that's holding you back. It's that no one trusts you yet. And that's true of anyone who is brand new to content creation. Even if you're a skilled, knowledgeable expert, there's no reason for a stranger online to believe in you yet. And if you're not an expert yet, well, it's going to be even harder. And some people quit way too soon. What we're talking about is the credibility gap. What makes you a credible source of information and insight, and how do you prove it? Because the solution isn't better editing, a better camera, better hooks or thumbnails. Yeah, those things matter, but they don't solve the core problem of getting people to trust that you know what you're talking about. There are hundreds of thousands of people that we could listen to online, and the ones we tend to gravitate to are the ones who already have some signals that they are credible and proof that other people listen to them already. That's social proof. If you come across one of my videos on this channel and you see that I have 5 subscribers at the time I'm writing this script and filming it, there is no social proof to persuade you to give me a chance. But if you came across my other channel with 20,000 subscribers, you'd probably give me the benefit of the doubt. And when you see that I have 10 years of experience in that industry, and I wrote a book about it, and I have 200 plus videos talking about it, you may even come to see me as an authority in that space. This is what makes it so hard for new content creators to make their mark. They don't have any of those signals. I'm going through Ali Abdaal's Lifestyle Business Academy at the moment. It's full of ambitious people who want to start and build a business. Some have a lot of credibility in their specialist areas, but many are starting from zero. Either way, everyone has to build or prove that they're worth listening to. When you're just starting out with no visible credibility, a common path to building it fast is to borrow the credibility of people your potential audience has already heard of. So you'll see posts and videos titled, "I read Daniel Priestley's Key Person of Influence, here's what I learned," or "How Atomic Habits Changed My Life in 30 Days," or an angle I considered for this video, "I took Ali Abdaal's Lifestyle Business Academy, here's what people are struggling with," something like that. You borrow the familiarity, recognition, and credibility of a respected name, and that, in theory, draws people to your content. And it can work in terms of views and subscribers, but is it building your credibility or just adding to theirs? It might get you views, but it doesn't make you more credible. A lot of new YouTubers, specifically, start out by copying other big YouTubers. Ali Abdaal's content is certainly a good example of that. He ran a wildly popular course on starting a YouTube channel. He already had millions of subscribers when he started that, a lot of credibility. So people copy the style. They set up their background like he does. They use similar animations and editing, and they talk about similar topics, hoping to achieve what he has achieved. But you can't. He's already known and respected for what he does. You can't reach the same level of success by copying him. Yes, there's a lot you can learn from his content that will help you along the way, but ultimately you have to find your own unique angle. When you copy someone with credibility, you might inherit their format, but none of their proof. And if you're new to a field, you're probably going to end up giving a lot of generic advice that's already been covered 1,000 times. You learn the fundamentals and you talk about those in your content, but it doesn't land because people have heard it all before. And you can easily end up in a position where you're doing a lot of the things right, posting consistently, sharing useful ideas, improving your technical skills and camera presence, but nothing's really happening because you're not earning trust. All of that technical stuff still matters. You should learn to write better hooks. You should learn how the different platforms work and improve how your content looks. But those things amplify trust. They don't create it. You're borrowing credibility instead of building your own. You're repeating ideas people have already heard, and you're copying formats that only work for those people who already have a big audience. So there's no reason for people to pay attention, and until that changes, it's not going to work. So what do you do instead? Well, if you don't have credibility yet, don't act like you do, and start building something in a way that people can see and welcome them into joining you on that journey. So practically speaking, when you're at the start of that journey with no credibility, don't make big, vague claims. Here's how to get clients. Here's how to grow your business. You need credibility before you can position your content like that. But you can tell people what you tried, what worked, what didn't, what you're struggling with, and what you're learning along the way. I tried doing this thing. Here's what happened. Getting clients was hard until I tried this method. These are more believable, honest, and you don't need to be perceived as an expert to create them. Credibility isn't about sounding impressive. It's about being believable. Any of your favorite content creators have been through hundreds of failed experiments to earn your trust over the years. Part of the reason we like online personalities is that we see their journey, good and bad. A lot of people teaching online learn something from a book or from other online content and then immediately teach it in their own content. Doing that is a great way to learn because you have to put it into your own words, and the act of doing it sort of cements it in your brain. But it's also where generic advice comes from. The first person to talk about an idea may be the expert. Then the person who hears it and teaches it to someone else puts it through their own filter. Some of that genuine insight may get lost along the way. Then someone else hears that repeated version and repeats it to someone else. Again, it passes through a filter. It could be the case that people add to the original idea, but often it gets slightly more watered down and generic the more people filter it and repeat it. But if you talk about what you've actually done yourself, what you learned, what worked and what didn't, even if your experience is limited, it's still yours. It's a primary source of one person's real experience trying the thing. And that's what makes it different. Then you can show the way you think. Here's How to Get Clients shows a conclusion, which may or may not be built on real lived experience. But Here's How I Got My First Client is real, and people can believe that what you're saying is based on reality, not theory. That's what builds trust over time. Ali Abdaal has been on YouTube for maybe 8 or 9 years now, and the reason I like him is because I've watched him learn and try a lot of different things. And some of those things he's used to build a business, and some have just quietly disappeared, and that's real. So just to sum up, speak from your experience and share your journey and be honest about it. That's what will build trust with an audience. And when you've got that trust and experience of actually doing things, you can speak with more authority about what really works. Good-looking content might get you attention, but credible content is what keeps it. So if you're trying to build an online audience for your ideas or for your business and it feels like nothing is working, zoom out from the technical tips and focus on how you can earn trust. That takes time. You've got to show up, share your real experience, be honest, and let people join you on the journey. Even if you've got years of experience in a specific field, nobody on YouTube or social media comes out of the gate looking like a credible expert. You have to earn it. Give people a reason to believe what you say, and close that credibility gap. If this is something you're struggling with and you want some help figuring out how to position yourself online, there's a link to book a call with me in the description. See you next time.